Is mediation of your disputes preferred than going to divorce court? Well, my name is Goldman. I'm the director and founder of Goldman and Associates. Our firm has a primary focus on family law issues here in Michigan. And today we're going to continue our video series designed to educate and inform the public. So please subscribe to our channel. You know, you're not always going to have a choice between whether or not you should go to mediation, because a lot of courts will order a case into mediation. Why? Because the courts don't want to be involved in how you run your household, okay? It's not the court's preference to give you orders, you shall do this, you shall do that. The court really doesn't want to do that. Now, the court doesn't have a problem with doing it in a business context or in some kind of lawsuit involving, you know, a tort or an injury or a malpractice. The court doesn't have a problem with doing that. But when it comes time to your family, the court, and perhaps wisely so, often feels that parents are the best people to decide what should happen with your kid. You know, you're trying to decide what school to go to. It's probably better that the parents work that out than some judge who has no skin in the game is going to decide, oh, I think Waterford's better system than, you know, West Bloomfield. Come on, you got to be kidding. You're the best people to decide what the future should be of your kids. And the court's only going to get involved if it absolutely can. So in these family law cases, many times the court will have several hearings to decide what is the status of the case and figure out where it's going to go. If the court has had multiple conferences and it's come to the point where the court says to the attorneys, gentlemen, ladies, what do we got going on here? And the attorneys will say, well, we have all these issues resolved, but we can't seem to resolve A, B, and C. The court's not likely to say, okay, we'll call your first witness. The court's going to say, let's send it to a mediator and see if we can get this done. I'm very familiar with this process. I have mediated zillions of cases. The lawyers here have involved in mediation process over and over and over again, countless times. If you're ever in the office in person, you will note that we have in the front multiple conference rooms. Why? Because we mediate cases. We have one party sitting on one side, one party on the other side. We keep them separate. But we're very familiar with this process, and oftentimes the courts will order that people come in order to have their dispute mediated. Now, what are the advantages of the mediation? Well, first of all, in most cases, there is an opportunity to get an issue resolved that you can't get resolved otherwise. Maybe the reason why you can't get it resolved is because of lack of trust. Perhaps you don't trust your lawyer to do the right thing. Perhaps you don't trust the other lawyer. Maybe your lawyer and the other lawyer seem to be working well together, and to your way of thinking, that's a bad thing. It's not, but some people feel that they need to hear it from yet a third lawyer. So the court appoints a mediator. The parties agree who the mediator will be, and that person hears the disputes and comes to a suggestion of resolution. Oftentimes, that suggestion of resolution is something that the lawyers knew about 8 months ago. But you weren't in the place where you're ready to resolve it, now you are. Sometimes that's what it takes. Another good thing about mediation is it's a lot cheaper than going to trial. With the mediation, you present your case before the mediator. Both sides do it. And the mediator says, well, I'll tell you what, let's find the middle ground. Let's do it this way. You get this one, but you don't get that one. Or you get this, but then he gets two of those. This is the kind of thing that mediators do. They're not judges. They're not advocates. It's not their function to do that. It's the function to try to find the middle road so that the judge does not have to make the decision. Now, they're very successful in doing this. You know, the vast majority of cases that go to mediation settle at mediation. So it's a really good process. And like I said, it's cost effective because you may pay the mediator $1,000 or $2,000 all in and for them to do their service, but that's a lot cheaper than going to trial. You want to go to trial, your lawyer's going to say, okay, I want another $10,000, $15,000 retainer. You have to have it available. And we're going to be subpoenaing records and we're going to call witnesses and all this. It's going to take a lot of time and it's going to cost you a fortune of money. And then maybe you'll win and maybe you won't. And by the way, even after the case is over, the judge doesn't immediately, give you a verdict and start writing checks to people. It could take 8 months for the court to issue a written opinion. All the while, you're still paying the mortgage, you're still doing all these things. So there's finality that the mediation can bring on a quicker level then that won't necessarily happen before the court. You can have a case scheduled for trial. You can be ready to go. You can bring all your witnesses in. You can bring boxes of evidence in only to have the court tell you, I'm sorry, gentlemen, we can't hear your case today. Come back in 3 months. And they can do that umpteen times. So the court, when you express frustration, is going to tell you, look, I have 700 cases on my docket. I can only try 40 in a year. do the math and you'll understand why your case is not necessarily the first one. I'm going to take the oldest one first. Your case is new. So that kind of thing lends people to get, you know what, mediation is probably a good idea. So that's why people do it. And I would say in a lot of situations, it's the preferred way to do it. It's certainly more time efficient, more cost effective, and a lot of times it gets you to where you got to be. Now, if you have questions about whether or not it'll work for you, reach out, give us a call, and we'll be glad to see if we can help you out.